Hello, stranger. We're taking a look at the third demo song. This is another one that Alan and I wrote together. Not necessarily anything Prince related specifically, but just sort of a slow, funky shuffle. So let's see what we got. Let's start with this keyboard. Which is a cool... like that envelope release, which is the filter envelope. So if we just play from the beginning of the tune, the two things that make this an interesting sound is our LFO. So we're just making the volume kind of wah 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 in triplets, I believe. That's how I timed it. And the filter envelope, because the release is really nice. We can make it shorter. And I don't think there's any reverb on it, or delay, or chorus. The idea is it's pretty dry, and I'm also filtering it with the tone knob. So if it were back down here, it would be more like more full-bodied, but we're up here. So it thins it out a bit, which is nice. And then this exact same sound comes in with the full band, except it's not filtered. Our tone knob is down. If I'm really clever, oh, I'm not. They were both wide, I was going to say. The first one could be mono, but I remember there's no effects on here at all, so I wanted it to still feel like it was pretty wide. So they're both wide, and I'm pretty sure this one doesn't have any effects on it either, just EQ. But you're going to hear a more full here. That's nice. Let's actually solo the thing. Here we go. So this is the more full part, which is really just from the tone knob. We just kind of go between those two chords. Let's see. The other thing that comes in at the very beginning is the bass, which is always fun. Don't need these. Those are just muted. I think it's up an octave, and it's probably filtered as well. So, yep, we got the tone knob turned up. It's filtered to be thinner with a delay in the chorus. And the EQs make a big difference on all these instruments. Help it pop. That's pretty unfiltered. We're on JF Sebastian. I'm just going to try the other chord patches. That one's pretty interesting. Pretty cool. And it continues playing in an octave, but then we've got another bass part that comes in that's sort of kind of like we did with the keyboard. It's the full bandwidth bass. So our tone knob's back to normal, probably a little more low end on the EQ. So basically a top end and low end. Not all the low end, but a decent amount. And a nice shortcut is the control key will allow granular increment up and down, and if you let go of the control key, it'll fly pretty quickly. That's me moving my mouse the same amount. Nice to know. We've got another sub bass that's literally just doing downbeats. And of course the drums. The drums are doing the drum thing, no problem. Bass, bass, bass. There's our keyboards. Oh, this pluck. This pluck's a lot of fun too. I think it's just doing octaves. So the out-of-tuneness that you're hearing is not from the fact that it's an out-of-tune core sound. It's actually on the square wave in-tune-ish kind of sound. It's coming from the chorus. And the chorus is not turned up that much, but if I turn off the chorus, then you get the more straight-ahead synth. Turn the chorus on. If we turn all of our effects off, so I just built all these the way I would build my own custom synth patches, because these are my own custom synth patches. EQ also helps. Clear up some of those mids. Fun sound, and it's got the dynamic low-pass filter and the dynamic volume turned all the way up, so you're getting a very dynamic performance. If I turn the filter off, now you're only going to hear volume. Turn the filter back on. So the softer velocities are more filtered or muted, and the louder velocities sound brighter. We could pull the dynamics all the way down, so our volume's the same, but we're still hearing a filter difference. And sometimes if you can't get your little arpeggiator thing to pop out the way you want, this would be a good way to do it. You're turning down your volume completely. Volume's turned up all the way, and the only differences you're hearing in the velocity is the filter, so it's soft to brighter. And I think the only thing we have left, I got a couple of things. Cool lead sound. I think I had already built this, and Alan wanted a fun, like, bendy, glidey, monophonic lead. And I said, well, how about this? And I literally played this, ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I said, you play what you think's best. And he said, I think that works fine. So that's what we ended up using. He put this awesome gliss in here. And he put that pitch bend in there. So what you're seeing for the CC is just pitch bend. That's pretty much it. And we have a second one that's an octave, no, a third, basically, transposed a third higher. We need more measures here because I can't scroll anymore. There we go. So our other synth sound, which is going up a little bit higher, this one's wide and it's quieter. The tone is turned down a little bit. But it's playing at the same time that the second statement of this one, which is more mono and brighter. So if we put them both together, you get which I thought was kind of a cool compliment. It feels like the lead is growing and getting bigger. I think I called this banjo because it sort of reminded me of a banjo part. So in this case, see, there's no dynamics, there's no low-pass filter. You're just getting the wide open filter exactly the way it would sound if it were a monophonic, non-velocity sensitive kind of classic keyboard. Although it is funny that it's playing octaves and it's on monophonic mode. That's how I recorded it, so that must be the way I wanted. That's the S where you could do more of a square wave. That's kind of cool. A little thinner. That's kind of cool too. I might like the Tyrell better than the Esper, but I'm gonna leave it here. I probably chose that so it would cut through a little bit. And our last song, this is the last song. Our last sound is sort of a Farfisa-y synth. They reminded me at the beginning of Blinded Me with Science, that same sort of short, articulated, tight filter. And there actually is some reverb on it, believe it or not. The Bricasti studio mics close is just such a powerful reverb. I'm just gonna loop this and dial the reverb all the way up, and you can hear what it does. Such a transparent reverb. This is just an IR of this reverb, obviously, but boy, I use it all the time. Studio mics close, studio mics far. I think those are the two options we have on the API drums instrument. Speaking of, this is the third release in the free series of Sulcata Sound, so you can grab it at sulcatasound.com for free, as well as a drum and piano instrument that have already been released. So what I'll do, just because we just listened to all those, if you want to stick around for another 30 seconds, I'm going to play through this and maybe pull up some of the parts. Cool. Take note, that second lead part is actually from a bass sound. So just because it says bass doesn't mean you need to use it for bass. Just because it says lead doesn't mean you need to use it for lead. We've got, what is this? 6 octaves range on all the patches, so use them all over the place. Use them in the full range, that's what they're there for. Cool. Thanks for hanging out. See you soon.